The moment a situation changes, preparation can become a liability.
Them saying to me, Bin Laden is dead. There's a car arriving outside your house in 20 minutes. And I was like, please, you've got to be kidding me. And they were like, we're not kidding you. There's a car arriving outside your house in 20 minutes.
Today, we are digging into the exact failure mode. Why the most prepared person could be the one who is gonna fall apart first.
Done a few different kinds of ways to approach this. One is, okay, something has happened. We're going. And the preparation is team.
My today's guest is Melanie Marshall. She has spent 20 years as a BBC journalist and a filmmaker, working in high-risk environments, from conflict zones to places where one wrong decision could end up everything.
It is the people beside you. It is the people beside you, and not always the ones you know, not always the ones you expect, who are going to pick you up and carry you.
She has seen up close what pressure does to thinking, to leadership, to the most capable person in the room. I think I should not be holding you up more here. Let's get to the show. I usually start from here, so this is for you. I don't know.
You want me to, to use as a...
No, you can read it. It's a personal... You don't have to read it like on camera. Like, it's for you.
Oh. I trust, in general, that people are mostly good. And I don't think that's soft, because I have been almost everywhere. You know, I've worked in Ukraine, I have worked in Syria, I have worked in Afghanistan, I have worked in Iraq, I've worked in Libya. I have worked in all of these places when they were what we say are kinetic. Right, which means usually bullets flying, chaos. Air raids, chaos. Yeah. And in those environments, I have seen people helping each other. So, you know, I could say, I would say it is, I also trust myself, and that's really important. But one of the things I trust the most, and I think is the most important for anyone who is listening to our conversation, is that people are mostly good. You know, I remember being in Tunisia, and I was with this cameraman, the South African cameraman, who I swear was immune to tear gas. And this is during the Arab Spring. And they were trying to keep their dictator intact. And so we were covering the protests, and I was with this cameraman, Tim Facey, who wanted to get really, really close. And these guys were using live fire, tear gas, and I was like, we're close enough. Come on, come down, come down. You know, he's climbing up on a lamppost. And the security forces are approaching, and they fire a tear gas canister that lands right at my feet and explodes and just right in my face. And I was so disoriented. Like, even if you've been tear gassed quite a bit, it's very disorienting. You get that acrid smell. You can't see. There's tears streaming down your face. And I tried to turn and run. It's like an animal instinct. No matter how prepared you think you are, you will lose a certain amount of that cognition, right? That those higher powers are gone. And so I turned to kind of try and run or get out of the way, and I dropped my purse and I dropped my phones. And ahead of me, two young men who had started to run away, were more fleet of foot, stopped, turned around, came back, picked me up off the ground, picked my phones up off the ground, picked my purse up off the ground, and helped me away down a side street and into a cafe. They didn't know me, they didn't know who I was, and they put themselves at risk to get me. I would like to point out that Tim Facey was okay. He got lots of shots. He had a great time. I saw him an hour later. I was very annoyed because I was worried sick about him, but he was fine. But that to me is like a little encapsulation of how you might think, okay, well, I'm going to go in, I'm going to do this, this, and this. When the risk reaches a certain threshold, well, I'm going to know, and I'm going to turn away. Right? But that might not happen. Something could hit you in the face.
And his preparation means like usually I need control.
Yeah, or that you will have it. That you'll have it. That you will be, you'll be ready. You'll know yourself. You'll know your limits. You'll walk away. And I don't need that in the same way. I mean, there are things that stress me out majorly. Weirdly, moving house stresses me out majorly. Like I need a friend to come and like tell me things aren't going to put themselves in boxes. But there are a lot of things that don't, because I know that not only does certainty not exist, but you don't actually need it. Because when you inevitably lose out on whatever you imagine you're going to have, if you aren't expecting it, people are going to show up and help you. And that's why, like, I talk a lot to founders, actually, because there are weird similarities.
Yeah, risk takers, huh?
Risk takers, I guess. Yeah. Risk takers. And it is the people beside you.
Yeah.
It is the people beside you, and not always the ones you know, not always the ones you expect, who are going to pick you up and carry you.
So were you lucky to find like such kind of people, or what do you believe? Like how?
No, I'm not lucky because I found them all over.
Yeah.
Right? Like I found them all over. I found them when I was in a bad mood. I found them when I was, it's not like I'm a blonde bombshell, it's not like I'm, the world's nicest person. I've seen it everywhere. And so I don't think it's luck. I think it is the reality. Like I say, I think we're all capable of bad, and we should stay humble, because sometimes I get irritated when I come out of these places and, we have this view that somehow it's the other, right? Like, oh my gosh, I'd never behave like that. I would never do that. It's like, you don't know. You don't know what you would do in any given situation. I think we all have it in us. So if you can stay humble on that front and realize that most of us are actually capable of extraordinary bravery. And this is where the trusting ourself part comes in. I think the kind of other people part is the most important thing, because actually you don't know what's going to get thrown at you. And I've spent my life not knowing what's going to be thrown at me.
And do you consider yourself as a strong person? You said to me previously you're a softie, but...
Yeah, I am a softie.
But you were in difficult places. You have to be strong. Then it's...
Yeah, yes. I guess I would say yes, strong, yes. Strong, but I wouldn't say particularly brave. I would say I'm strong because I can hold a lot of maybe pain. I can handle it. If I'm sitting with somebody who's having one of the worst days of their lives, I have been in the room with a woman who has just lost a child. I have, I've been in places where people have just been wounded. I have been in some pretty sad scenarios. And I remember being in one of my very, very early situations where I was learning how to do this job, learning how to be a good human in this job. And I was at a mudslide in the Dominican Republic, and this woman had lost 5 children.
Wow.
They'd been swept away from her, and she'd survived. And for whatever reason, we'd gone to this clinic to try and get stories and just figure out what was going on. And for whatever reason, she had just attached herself to me. I guess she'd felt a connection, and she knew we had a vehicle and wanted to go back to the place where she had last seen her children. And she was holding on to me and begging me to take her back. And so when I talk about holding pain, that's what I mean.
And do you like do preparation, or do you believe in preparation? Like when you were going out, like you wake up in the morning, like things that you were doing, like you were preparing for anything, or you were like just going out there and seeing like whatever is going to happen, I will do the task based on that.
You mean preparing for it? I guess preparing in what sense? I mean, I suppose, you prepare in the sense of before you go into any situation like this, you have a sense of, okay, what are we trying? There's a few different kinds of ways to approach this. One is, okay, something has happened, we're going. And the preparation is team, logistics, and we will deliver. And I'm trying to think of a way, you have to bleep me. I used to say, get good stuff on air while having fun. And if I had to drop two, I would say, well, having fun and good. Because your goal is to get it on air. And that's sort of the news. That's the news side of it. But for me, it was very much to try and bring the humanity of places that people often saw as almost wallpaper or two-dimensional, to try and connect that, to try and make a mother see a mother and feel a mother. So the preparation for that is to try and find the right place, the right person, the right through road. And I guess there is you're going to try and put all the pieces in place, right? Of having the right team, to know that you have the right chemistry, to have as much resilience built in. Like, okay, do we have the resources? Do we have enough money or whatever built in? Do we have the right vehicle? I remember once having 3 spare tires in Afghanistan. I used to go to Afghanistan a lot. That's a country I love. And I remember thinking, why do we have 3 spare tires? Like an hour and a half later, when we were having our 3rd spare tire repaired in the middle of a riverbed, I was like, oh, that's why we have 3 spare tires. So preparation, right? You try to have those resources. Like that's because I had a story I wanted to get to. So you try to put some of those pieces in place. But the idea that it's all going to go according to a plan, if you have that set, you're going to be disappointed the moment you do open the door. Because that's just not how it works. What's the Mike Tyson quote that like everybody has a plan until they get punched in the face?
Maybe that was it. Maybe.
Okay, well, it's because that's when I always think about that's when I would think about like frequently on some of my trips, right? Because like something is always going to go wrong, and I'm using like air quotes for it because wrong is only true if you are expecting it to go right. If it is just something that is happening on the way to your end goal, then you can see it as, oh, okay, now I need to work with this, which is how I try to view it. All right. So going back to Syria, because we got all the Syria discussion, so now that's where I am. Because it can be a problem and it can be an opportunity. Right? We're trying to do different things while I'm in Syria with the wonderful Lise Doucette. And we really wanted to go to Homs. And at that point, Homs was this divided city. Half of it had been totally destroyed. Our friend Marie Colvin had been murdered. And we wanted to go very badly. And we managed to get on a facility with the UN. And that was amazing. And we were going to be able to go without our minders. And we were on like a 3rd minder at that point because we'd escaped from 2, so they'd gotten sacked. And then we had this 3rd one who I still know to this day. He's a good guy, actually. But we went off to Homs. And because we were really present, we weren't looking at anything as right or wrong. We were just on this trip, being there, looking for what we could get, knowing what the city was, knowing the story there as far as we knew it, with the right people, the right place, then when we stopped for lunch at the hotel and they said, oh, well, these guys are going to stay the night, I was awake to say, oh, we're going to stay with them. We were not supposed to do that, right? We were supposed to be turned around and gone back. But there was nobody to force us to do that. And that allowed us to be the first foreign journalists to stay the night. It allowed us to have much better access. And it allowed us to go across with them into rebel-held territory, which we would never have been able to do if we had been looking at a plan and saying, this is the way it is supposed to go. Now, it also meant so that was the good part, but it also meant when we were at one point trying to find a way across, we were going, so one thing, you always want to be really alive to your surroundings. And I think this is, you're a problem solver, right?
Kind of, yeah.
I like how you do that. You're like,
kind of, yeah.
Solve a problem now and again.
Yeah.
Well, would you say you are? Would you say you're awake to the world, or awake to, like, when you're engaging with something, what are you doing?
First thing is I'm observing, like, what's happening. Then only I react, and then is the time, like, when I use my knowledge, if there is a problem to be solved, then I solve the problem.
Yeah. The observing, right?
Observing is the first thing. Like, it doesn't matter what kind of room it is, like whether it's a party, maybe that's a problem that I have, like, but I start observing the things, like what's happening. No,
I don't think that's a problem. I think, come with me on a little trip. Maybe you don't want to. No, but, so like weird, because one of the things you always do is you observe.
Yeah.
Right? It's like to try and just you want to be present.
Yeah.
But present and observe. So when we're driving up, you have your windows open so you can hear. And if a city starts to go quiet, that's usually a bad sign. So that's a combination of knowledge and presence, right? Which is where the observation comes in, the wisdom.
Correct.
And so I realized that. And we were driving, and I literally, then you react, right? This is what you said. So I grabbed the driver's shoulder. Now, this was a little uncool. And I grabbed this and I squeezed and I screamed, like, turn around. And he reacted because we were a team and we had that connection. And we avoided a firefight that burst out in front of us between the rebels and the government forces. We had gone up the wrong road. And that was why the city was quiet, was because the people knew, and they were probably looking out their windows thinking, what on earth are they doing? But if we hadn't been paying attention, if we hadn't been working as a team, we would have been unlucky. We talked about luck earlier. We would have been very unlucky. And we had the opportunity, and then you have the risk, but you have to be present. You don't need to know everything that's going to come up. You just need to be observing, and I think then reacting.
And is there a way, like, or I would say some people are preparing or over preparing, right? So is there something called over preparation? And whenever someone is over prepared, are they preparing to overcome the fear that they have? Or it's just another way of saying, like, they are less tested?
I think what you're saying is, like, they're trying to pretend that they can control reality.
Kind of, yeah.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Is that what you mean?
Yeah, and yeah, that would be the ideal way to put it. Like, they're trying to make the things happen in the way that they want. They want certain things to happen or not to happen in a way that they don't want, or they don't want any surprises. Kind of.
Yeah. Yes. They don't want any surprises.
Yeah. When you do like over preparation, like that's usually the thing. That's what you're trying to do. Like nothing unusual should happen.
Nothing unusual should happen. And the truth is that unusual things happen every single day.
Yeah.
I mean, I think about getting like pretty much for over 20 years, a lot of my mornings started with unusual things happening. And with hindsight, we look back and say, oh, well, we could have prepared for that. Right? Like I remember my niece once said to me recently, she's like, oh, Auntie, it's nice. You don't leave holidays all the time now. But I used to, in 2004, Hurricane Katrina, Oh, Melanie, something's happened. Something's happened in New Orleans. Don't know what it is. You need to go. We look back, we think, oh, we should have planned for that. Okay, but it was a surprise at the time. We didn't see it coming. We never see it coming. I know a few futurists, and I always have this fight with them. Mm-hmm. I'm like, we never see it coming. I think about during the Arab Spring when I had not been home like at all, and I remember waking up and them saying to me, Bin Laden is dead. There's a car arriving outside your house in 20 minutes. And I was like, please, you've got to be kidding me. And they were like, we're not kidding you. There's a car arriving outside your house in 20 minutes. And I actually think I got on that plane. I forgot to pick up the money at Heathrow. I was so tired. I got on the plane with like no money, which I never do. I'm the bank. I used to be the bank, which means you carry the money. But I was so tired. I had to text our finance guy and be like, Paul, I'm so tired. I forgot the money. And he's like, don't worry. It's waiting for you in Islamabad. But it was like, I was just so worn out. But you never see it coming. Mm-hmm. Even things you should see coming, like when Queen Elizabeth II died. People did used to think I was a bit of a news jinx because wherever I would go, things would happen. Okay. So when Queen Elizabeth II died, I was running at that point the day-to-day operations in Jerusalem, Gaza, and the West Bank. I had gone to take like a silent, like hippie, relaxing retreat up about an hour and a half's drive from Balmoral, her estate in Scotland. And I got a text saying, can you call? And I thought, they know I'm on a break. I have so much holiday. And they were like, yeah, you need to go get a car and go to Balmoral. And I was like, are you kidding? I don't know why I asked. And I was like, are you sure? Yeah. And they couldn't say anything, obviously, right? Because this was pretty hot. And and one of the Scots was like, yes, we're sure, but with a little stronger language. And I came down and said to my new hippie friends, I'm so sorry, I've got to go. And off I went. Mm-hmm. Right? We should have seen it coming, right? She's very old. Of course, something's going to happen, but we never see it coming. Right? We plan and plan and plan. Now, they had an excellent plan in place. You put it all together. But even then, parts of it fall apart. The person that you've accredited isn't ready. The satellite signal doesn't work as well as you think it will. Somebody's flight gets delayed. All of those people, even for something like that, right? I'm telling you, they'd had briefings and meetings and plans, and everybody had been working on that one forever. There were still things that fell apart. I was still driving around at midnight looking for a place to sleep because that wasn't sorted out. Not because anybody had done anything wrong, just because that's how reality works.
So you never kind of prepare for the problems. You're basically always preparing for the execution now. Doesn't matter what comes in the way. Well, and you perceive the things like as they're coming.
Well, I mean, I think about the problems. I mean, I think it's like I've usually thought about what will go wrong. Like, I mean, my friends make fun of me because they'll be like, I have another friend who's a vet and who's served with a lot of valor, and they make fun of the two of us because they're like, you two sit with your backs to the door, and but no, I think you do think about what will go wrong, but the plan is that you have the resources to react. Like, you don't plan for everything to go right. You plan that you have the ability to react. Mm-hmm. So your plan is your adaptability. Because if the plan is based on your ability to control reality, it will crumble quickly. Somebody won't meet a deadline. Something will get held up at the bank, right? I'm not talking about war zones. Like, let's make it more real, right? You'll get a cold. And if it is all based on everything going perfectly, you're going to fail very quickly. So if your plan is based more on adaptability, then it's much easier to win. And you don't actually need everything to be perfect. I mean, and that's what I've seen, right? Like I have friends who have lost everything and rebuilt, and they would tell you that. Not because it was easy or fun to lose everything and rebuild. I'm not being Pollyanna about it, but that it is possible to have the goal, which is, okay, this is the goal that I'm going to get to a place where I have, built something that is, a going concern, and that, we can redefine stability as a going concern. I'll use that word. But that I am adapting to the situation around me. So, I mean, we're in Canada right now. So, tariffs, right? We're redefining our defense. We're redefining our economy. That's not easy, but it is possible. Mm-hmm. Right? If it is possible for my friends who lost everything in a typhoon to rethink, adapt, raise their kids, send them to high school, it's possible for us. It is.
So whenever the plan fails, what do you think? Like, what fails first? Like, is that ego, identity? What's happening? Like, or is that thinking?
I think thinking is both. Like, because thinking is both, right? So, look, when the plan fails, it is usually reality, right? So it is usually like something does go wrong, right? Like I said, if we'll get to a point where somebody doesn't do what we expect them to do. There is always a black swan event. And like even me, when I'm like, there's going to be a black swan event, there will always be a moment for me where I'm like, oh, well, that's not the black swan event I thought it was going to be.
Something else.
It's something else, right? And so I always end up having I try to have a sense of humor, which I think is very useful in life. Like, I do. Like, you have to. Have a little sense of humor.
But you're never frustrated?
Oh, no, I get frustrated all the time. But I try to have a sense of humor because I think it's one of the ways you get through hard times. But you ask about the plan failing, and it's like, I do think that kind of brittleness of mind and that's like the seriousness about yourself, which I don't know, would you call that ego? I kind of think that is ego.
The thoughts which are going to come in my mind is going to be related to the ego. Like, I think I was prepared. I think next time I'm not gonna do it. Like, I'm gonna question myself, definitely. Like, and maybe it's gonna fall back to the things that you said. Sometimes you have to adapt to the situation. Like, doesn't matter. Like, how hard you have prepared, how thorough you were doing the preparation, how many backup plans you had, 3 tires, maybe 4 or 5, doesn't matter. Even you had 3 and that was the last one, maybe, and you were kind of over prepared. Like, usually we go for 1, right?
Yeah.
So maybe a long-winded answer, like the thing that you were asking me, in my case, like, I think ego is going to get crushed for sure.
But would you say that ego is brittleness of mind? I'm curious. Like, I'm curious for you. Do you think, and like, I'm curious because I know this is your interest, was preparation. Like, what is it, prepared versus ready in a way?
Yeah.
And like, how important do you think it is to have the plan? And to hold on to the plan?
So I have my own mindset. I'm going to tell you. So,
please.
So usually, like, what I have seen is, like, I'm going to give you small examples. Like, if my wife is asking me, like, okay, let's prepare for something. I'm kind of a person, I'm going to say, like, let's wait for the last moment. If we have the time and the things are allowing us to make that happen, we will make that plan. But I'm not, or we will do the actions at that time. I'm not going to make a plan and then do the things. But if you see from a business point of view, and like if you actually are doing things in this world, sometimes you have to prepare. But for me, I don't plan. I mostly see the things from a different point of view. Like, I don't know if I'm gonna plan. My thinking is maybe I don't wake up in the morning. Like that's my way of understanding and looking at the things. If I wake up in the morning, I'm gonna figure out what needs to be done. Making the journals, like, yeah, I'm gonna wake up. These are the things that I'm gonna do. There are thousands of people who don't wake up in the morning. Like,
Yeah.
I have that kind of mindset. Like, if I'm gonna wake up, I will figure out the things. I will make the list at that time. Of course, I don't know about the next moment. Of course, I don't know like what's gonna happen next hour. If I'm driving, who I'm gonna meet, is there gonna be road rage? I don't know. I cannot prepare for that. But I don't believe in plans. I don't.
Yeah, I wondered, because how does your wife feel, by the way, about the fact you don't believe in plans?
She's opposite. She's a daydreamer. Like, she wants to like travel and do all those kind of things. And
I think it could be good to have a little combo. I think it can work, like talking about team, right? Because I believe like one of the ways it works to not have a plan is to have the right people around you.
Yeah.
Right? Because you go together.
True.
We always go together. And like that's when things don't work, or they do. When they don't work, it's always better to have someone with you. And when they do work, it's better to have someone with you. In business and in life.
Yeah, true. And sometimes like what happens is like when you are over prepared or you're prepared, you are saying like, I'm the reliable one. I have the answer.
I'm it.
Yeah.
I'm it.
Yeah.
And like, the truth is that we're not it. We're not. We have to have that openness to it was one of the mistakes I made when I was younger I wouldn't say I was a leader then. I think I was very good at my job. I don't think I was a leader. Is I sort of did think I knew it all because I could see 10 problems down the road. And so I would not always be present to what other people were seeing in the moment or thinking or feeling. And that made me not as good of a leader. And the more that I was in the moment and really paying attention to what other people were seeing and thinking and like feeling, it made me much better leader. And that made things much more resilient and agile, like for my businesses and for my departments. Like, it really did. It's why I can still get help from my teams now when I say, oh, help me. Because you don't know, like, people are going to have, ideas and ways of doing things. And that will be part of why your plans fail as well.
You have seen like so much. What do you believe? Like, do you believe in luck? And based on the fact that you mentioned me so many things, I think so you don't believe in luck. Maybe I'm wrong. You tell me. And if you're going to ask me to define luck, I don't know.
Yeah, I was going to ask you to define. You can tell.
I don't know.
You can tell by my pause.
Yeah.
I don't know. I don't think life is fair.
Mm-hmm.
I wish it was. I don't think it is. And that's often been hard for me because I have this weird feeling I'm lucky. Mm-hmm. Even like I know that I'm not a billionaire. I'm not all of this, but I'm healthy and I'm well and I live such a rich life. I've seen so much. So I feel really lucky. But I know so many people who have not, not been dealt a great hand. So I don't know if I believe in luck. But what do I believe? I believe that people are mostly good. I believe that we are remarkably creative and adaptable creatures who can do amazing, amazing things. I think that there is beauty and joy almost everywhere. I've never been on an assignment where there has not been laughter. And I am talking about war zones. I am talking about disaster areas. People will naturally seek out joy in small moments. I'm not talking about, stand-up comedy special. I'm talking about small moments of happiness and connection. I believe that's who we are. And I think that's true when I think business is a creative endeavor. We're trying to build something and create something new where there was nothing before. And that's if you're creating engineering code that I don't understand, or, that's if you're doing an interior design business. That's all a form of trying to bring something into being. And we don't all have to have like grand purpose of saving the world. It can be, I want to take care of my family. Most of these people I met who were doing what was, I call it accidental bravery, because they didn't wake up and think, I want to survive a war zone. Mm-hmm. They thought, I want to save my family. And that was their purpose. But they're incredible human beings, and we're all capable of that. And that's why I believe we're not doomed. Like somebody said, if you had one sentence, what would it be? And I said, it would be, we are not doomed. I don't care what is going on in the world. I know we are not doomed. I know we are not. As long as we keep going.
Is that your intuition, or do you have some facts or data behind it?
Well, my facts and my data are that I have worked on 6 out of 7 continents and spent over 20 years in some of the most hostile environments going. And I have seen people come through it. I've seen people come through those places and rebuild with their humanity and their lives intact. And Dean Kamen, who invented the segue, I was at the World Economic Forum in Davos, and he was giving a speech. And I remember him saying, whatever you're worried about in the world, stop worrying about it. Somebody somewhere is already working on the solution. And I'm not saying these aren't dark and difficult times. I think they are. But my intuition is based on lived experience. And I think we should all look at what is in front of us, what is the work in front of us, which might be business, which might be journalism, which might be our families, might be a combination of those things, and just get to work. Mm-hmm. Get to work on the thing in front of us. And that's that's it. That's the thing. And not expect it to go to plan, just don't, because it's not going to. It is not going to, and that's fine because you don't need it to. You can do it anyway. You can do it with a headache, in a bad mood. You can do it if you think your company's cash flow is not great. You can do it if you have to start again. You can do it if your wife is really mad at you. Mm-hmm. You can do it anyway. You just can. Mm-hmm. Can I prove that to you? I think I'm going to spend the rest of my life trying to help people believe that for themselves. That's my work. That's my work. That's what's in front of me.
How did you come to know that's your work? That realization?
Because I feel so deeply that we need to create new solutions together, cross disciplines in different ways. And I really love people. I really do. I like it. I mean, so I said, I don't believe in luck, and yet I am so lucky. I'm just so lucky. And for me, I think I have had and lost friends that I've met along the way. One woman that kind of started me on this road over a long way, Rada, an Iraqi woman that I met while making a film about paragliders in Mosul. She was a divorcee who paraglided because it was her way of being free, and her way of just like living out loud, despite what the restrictions on her were. Mm-hmm. And when she and I met, we were like, we just connected. It was like, you know, you meet on a roadside on one day, and the length of time is not the depth of the relationship. Have you met people like that where you just connect? Are you not?
Yes.
Yeah. Yeah. And we had that immediately, like where we just laughed. Like we both like to laugh. We both like to make jokes. We're both a little bold, both a little different. And I knew other people would get her. But even within the constraints of, even with within the freedom of the format and the freedom, the creative freedom that I had at that point with the BBC, I still didn't even feel like I could fully tell her story until I started to speak more outside. So I started to talk about her to people I would meet, and people who were feeling this pain about the world. And I would tell this story about Khada, and she was murdered by Islamic State because she couldn't leave Mosul because she was taking care of her elderly father. And so when it was taken over by Islamic State, she was there, and she was the kind of person that they hated. And I find it very hard to pinpoint one like time or place that coalesces path, but I would put her as the person that coalesces for me. That like, I would love her legacy to be a legacy that I keep alive in my work. Somebody who lived really out loud and who refused to live in despair. She refused to accept the idea that Mosul was doomed, or she was doomed, or she was going to be a caring, creative, loving person flying off the side of a mountain. That was who she was. And I want other people to know that that is like the truth of the world as much as anything else.
Have you ever seen someone going in front of you? Like not natural death, but the ways that you have seen across the world.
What you mean, to see someone passing, like dying?
Yeah.
I've seen quite a bit of death.
What's
the point of the question?
The close ones, like.
No, not somebody super close. Yeah. I've had to.
The point of question you asked me, like, is again, like, you were never prepared for that, but it has shifted and changed a lot in you.
Yeah.
I'm not be all, and I know like all the things.
Yeah.
But I can get so many things from you. I just want to know, like, how that is.
How that it changes you?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's funny. I mean, not funny. It's not funny. It's a weird word to use, right? Like, because I've thought about it a lot, because I don't know why in particular Rada has stuck with me so much, because there are other people I've known, right? There, Kate Payton, who taught me how to produce when I was a like baby producer in South Africa, and she was killed not when she was like out on patrol in Somalia. She was killed when she was standing outside the hotel, when she was safe, when she had got back and she was like in the safe part, and she was hit with a bullet. And I still remember getting the call from the man who was my boss then, and he'd been our boss in South Africa, to tell me that she'd been shot and that she was in the hospital and it wasn't looking good. And I don't think about her as much. But I know other people for whom like that is it's a defining one. It's not that I don't care. It's just that it's, and I know, like, you know, from my friend Lee's, Marie Colvin, who was so close to her, you know, these deaths do change you in different ways. I think in some ways suffering has changed me more.
Mm-hmm.
I find the pain of people who are left behind, the pain of people who have lost someone and have to go on. I remember Syria. So you've got me in Syria this episode. Going to the morgue after the first car bomb, and people had gone to try and find out if their loved ones had been murdered, and to find out if there were any remains, and this man screaming, "Wala haram, wala haram, wala haram," which is like, what a shame, what a shame. Like, it's like, that's the rough translation. But it was the anguish in his voice. And if you've ever been with somebody who is, and it's like that woman I was talking about, it was like when you are with somebody who is in absolute raw grief,
mm-hmm.
that is, it's like being in an ocean. It's like being in an ocean that is so deep, you don't know how anybody is ever going to get out of it.
Mm-hmm.
And so, in a way, death it's over. Like, so if you are with someone who's passed, then it is over. So it is sad, but it is done. But when you are with people who are going through grief, it is huge.
Comes to you as well.
I don't know how it couldn't.
Yeah.
But I said to a young mentor or mentee of mine, I said, just remember, it's like, you don't cry if they don't. Like, you never cry more than the person. Like, you've always got to respect that it is their grief. It is their feeling. That is, you are there to witness and to support. You are there to be respectful. So, like, for me, I want to share these stories because the resilience to me is incredible. I told you, I guess passing, I told you I was in the room when this woman gave birth to a baby that died. And that was profoundly moving, is probably the best word. For most of us, that's the worst outcome. And, she leans up and whispers, "Thank you for saving my life," to the nurses, because she lived. That changed my outlook. A single moment. Mm-hmm. But then seeing the husband being told, and it was not their first child they'd lost, and seeing him just like taking a deep breath and walking out the door and getting a shovel to go and dig the grave himself. How could you not?
I just didn't want this to end, but thank you so much, Melanie, for coming to the show.
Thank you so much. It's been a really lovely, and we couldn't have planned this conversation.